we'd like to welcome you to the first edition of Bushel Up for 2022, and just wish everybody a happy new year. Hope you had a good Christmas and just a little time with family, friends, a little downtime to reflect. But we want to get back to work here. No rest for the weary, right? Let's get to work here. So we're going to talk about calcium. Continue on our nutrient series. Calcium is very important in the plant. It's key to plant cell wall, wall development. Cells divide as they elongate, as those plants grow, whether it be corn, soybeans, wheat. Calcium is very integral in that. It's the key part to root, shoot, and grain development. So it impacts all phases of the plant. We're always needing calcium to be taken up by the plant. The reason why most guys aren't worried about their calcium levels on a soil test, or we don't talk about calcium fertilization, is because it's very prominent in our soils. Especially in Nebraska, we have a lot of calcium in our soils, in our parent material, in our clays, our silt loams. When we get in sand, sometimes we get a little bit lower, but I looked at our database of grid samples pulled over the last 15 years, and we average about 2,300 part per million. So that's plenty of calcium to supply a crop need. We also get a lot of calcium in our water. Now, we do get as high as 8,000, 8,500 part per million, which then becomes actually an issue if we have too much calcium in the soil. So we'll get some free lime, free calcium. And the reason that becomes an issue is I call calcium the very friendly molecule. As a nutrient, it loves to attract other friends. So, it's got two positives here. It's got a big surface area, so it loves to bind with our other nutrients. That's why we get concerned about tie-up of phosphorus and some other nutrients like that. When calcium gets high in soil, or we get higher pH soils, that's the issue. But that's also a benefit too, because calcium binds to sodium and helps flush salts through our soil. So, when we're putting nitrogen and sulfur on, those are salt products. We rely on calcium to help flush those through the soil or help take them into plants. So, one rule of thumb here is every pound of nitrogen will bind with a pound of calcium. Every pound of sulfur will take out 2 pounds of calcium. So that's why as we fertilize and we put salts on, nitrogen, sulfur, things such as that, they fix with calcium and kind of neutralize each other out to get into the plant, or move into kind of hold them stable in the soil. So calcium is a good thing. Issues of if we are short of calcium, we get into some low pH soils. We want to make sure we're looking at lime. If we're in kind of neutral pH, but we feel like we need some calcium, we may look at a gypsum or a calsol. And the reason we do that is because if you get a tight soil, where a lot of the soils are tight, calcium actually is that big molecule that will help open up soils. So when we see good calcium levels, obviously we get better drainage, better water penetration, better root development, as opposed to where sometimes we run into those soils that are compacted, waterlogged, wet. We do use calcium to help break some of those soils up. So just a little bit on calcium. Again, not something we talk about a lot, but it is very important in the plant.